Absolutely, and the individuals that have done these actions, that whether it's dancing on the tomb of the unknown soldier, whether it's putting flags and such on Terry Fox, a very icon of this nation, whether it's harassing people in any business, in particular people that might be working in a homeless shelter. These people should be held accountable. If the acts that they have performed are illegal, I would hope that the RCMP, or the OPP in this case, or whoever the law enforcement agency is, would ultimately hold these individuals accountable. And I would go a step further to say that what these individuals are doing, they owe Canadians an apology. It's absolutely despicable that we see people doing this. It takes away from the broader message that the vast majority of law-abiding folks that are participating in whether it be the Ottawa rally, this rally we saw here in Regina, or numerous other communities across the province as well. It takes away from the message that they are conveying is that vaccine mandates are not working, vaccine mandates are not necessary, and they're something they'd like the federal government to remove. Ours is very different. In Saskatchewan, we have the proof of negative test option, and we've signaled that we will be ultimately removing that in the days ahead. We've seen these type of actions by individuals at previous previous gatherings at various times. If we look back in history, and we should always remember that when an individual performs a despicable act like we are seeing here, or like, quite frankly, when we saw a number of people in front of this building having their voices heard on a very important topic. We saw one individual ultimately spray paint over the names of soldiers that have given their life to this country and this province on our war memorial here in Regina. Also a despicable act, also an individual that should ultimately be held accountable for that act, but it is in no way should detract from the message that was being brought forward and heard on that particular day, and the same holds true today.
Actions of the bad people, but what about the silence and indifference of the good people, including yourself, because many are not commenting on the actions or standing up against the actions unless they're prompted by the media through questions. So what about the silence and indifference that we're seeing from the standardized?
I would encourage anyone when they see someone that's doing something that is discriminatory, whether it is something that ultimately is a despicable act like what we have been discussing here today, whether and if it's an illegal act, they should step in. And I won't ascertain between good and bad people, but most certainly we should step in and we should stop some of the actions that we have ultimately seen. We've all seen them on the news, but us also as individuals, and you ultimately as the media, we should always be separating out individual actions from the broader message that people want to bring. And we see a number of those messages on various topics that come and arrive at the front of this building. We saw a large one this weekend with what started with truckers, but I can assure you that in addition to truckers out front of this building this weekend, there was teachers, there was nurses, there was other healthcare workers, there was welders, there was frontline workers in our retail businesses from across the province, and that's why we communicated with them our support for that broader initiative, and our support, and what ultimately we are hearing from Saskatchewan people is that as we find our way to living with COVID, part of that is going to be reducing the public health measures that we have in place, and we're taking a very bold but responsible view as to when we're going to be able to do that.